Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of our 7-star raid builds. Just a little bit ago, I think within the hour at the time of recording this, I might be underestimating that a little bit. Pokemon Company announced the next 7-star raid, and it's going to be the Gen 9 pseudo-legendary Pokemon Baxcalibur. Baxcalibur, of course, is a dragon and ice type Pokemon, as it says up here on the infographic, and its Terra type is going to be ice. So it's not necessarily picking up any new high damage output types, but it's really honing in on that high ice type damage output, which is interesting considering its highest or its what's it called? Its signature move is Dragon type, Glaive Rush, which I know for a fact it's gonna have. I feel like you can bet on that. It's its signature move. Why wouldn't it run it? Obviously, Glaive Rush is a very high base power Dragon type move. I think I actually have it pulled up right here. Hold on. I think I still have the page with Baxcalibur. Yeah. So Glaive Rush is an 120 base power move with 100% accuracy. The issue with Glaive Rush is, and I'm hoping we'll be able to take advantage of this. When Glaive Rush is used, when you attack the user, so in this case you'd be attacking a Baxcalibur that just used Glaive Rush, you'll do double damage. So if this Pokemon uses Glaive Rush, your next turn is going to be an insane damage output turn, and you need to prioritize that. You need to really, if it uses Glaive Rush, don't set up on the next turn, even if you're not set up all the way. Just attack. There's no point in doing anything else. Icicle Crash, I think, is its best ice-type damage output. That has a flinch chance, I believe, but it's probably not going to get to use it unless you have a slower Pokemon, because Baxcalibur is normally pretty slow. I don't think any of our builds really focus on speed, so it might get that flinch, but again, I think it's like, it's a pretty low chance. Hold on, I can actually pull that up for you, too. Icicle Crash. I don't have the exact rate. It just says it may make the target flinch. But Crunch and Dragonclaw on there. Other great coverage options. I consider Dragonclaw a coverage option because I think this thing's going to try to stay away a little bit from using Glaive Rush because of that insane downside. Zen Headbutt, Brick Break, and Iron Head are also great coverage options that this Pokemon gets, so I expect at least one of those to be on here. And Focus Energy is probably one of this Pokemon's best setups. I think it also gets Dragon Dance. Let me look at that. I'm doing a lot of cross-referencing while. Yeah, it does get Dragon Dance, which is worth noting. Does it get... It also gets Swords Dance, so it could also run that. I didn't put that up on the infographic. I apologize for that. So be ready for one of those two. I definitely expect this Pokemon to be more physical than special. For reference, its physical attack set's 145, while its special is 75, so it wouldn't make sense for her to use that special attack stat when the attack is almost double. Stomping Tantrum and Thunderfang are also moves this Pokemon gets, but they're a little bit less important here. They don't really hit as much super effective as they need to, so I don't really expect to see those. Maybe Stomping Tantrum to take down some fire types. But we'll get to why you shouldn't use fire types in a second anyway, so you wouldn't really have to worry about it. As a pure ice type Pokemon, as it's going to be weak to fighting, steel, rock, and fire. But I want to point something out to you. Do not use a fire Pokemon. When you immediately think what's good against ice, fire is what jumped to mind for me. I'm sure it's what jumped to mind for you. Baxcalibur has a signature ability, and it's probably the one it's going to run. I don't think it's going to run Ice Body, which is a hidden ability. I put it up there on the infographic anyway, just because that's what we always do. But I almost know for a fact it's going to run Thermal Exchange. What that ability does is whenever this Pokemon is hit by a fire move, it does normal damage, like it doesn't reduce the damage at all, but it gets an attack boost every single time you hit it with a fire move. Do not hit it with a fire move. This Pokemon, you do not need to be giving this Pokemon attack boosts for free. It's just a free +1, and if you keep going for it, it'll just keep getting worse. That's actually why one of these builds isn't Skeledirge. I immediately saw this and thought of Skeledirge, but Thermal Exchange obviously limits that pretty heavily. This Pokemon's going to be in 7-star raids from June 20th to June 22nd, and then once again from June 27th to June 29th. So, be ready for that. You got 2 opportunities there. Again, if you're a little limited on resources, maybe wait for the first run, see what it has for sure from this set of moves and stuff, and then build a set from one of our builds here that really can highlight its weaknesses and negate your weaknesses. So with that being said, let's get over to our builds. I don't know what you expected. Ice Pokemon, we're going to try Iron Hands. Iron Hands, of course, is a fighting electric type. Terra type of fighting, you're going to give it the Scope Lens held item. A lot of these Pokemon I actually have here today, I should mention, are previously used builds. I think every single one of them, I didn't actually have to level up a new Pokemon at all. I was able to kind of just move around some moves and such. Some Terra types as well. Of course, it's the stereotypical Iron Hand set. You got Drain Punch, Electric Drain, Focus Energy, and Belly Drum. You can switch out Belly Drum for Swords Dance if you want something a little bit more consistent. You have to be a little bit risky by pressing that Belly Drum unless your team can make up for it with like a Reflect or a Defense Cheer or something similar. So keep that in mind. Swords Dance might be a better option there if you're planning on going on this alone or Realistically, even if you're going at it alone, you should be connecting to people over the internet. You should be doing it with a group of four. Um, so in that case, if you can't coordinate, maybe Swords Dance is a little bit better than Belly Drum, but Belly Drum is kind of hype. It's like a Hail Mary. You press Belly Drum, those rain punches are going to be hitting hard, especially after a Glaive Rush. So that'll be pretty cool. If you're fighting with a bunch of other Iron Hands, you got Quark Drive. So set that Electric Train. Everyone gets an attack boost. It's just very, very good, especially if you have multiple Iron Hands on the field. When it comes to its EVs, you want to max out HP, max out attack, plus 4 points in defense. And when it comes to its nature, you want Adamant, which is plus attack and minus special attack. Again, Quark Drive is this Pokemon's only ability, so you don't really need to worry about that. I don't really think I need to talk about its set, but I would recommend leading with a Focus Energy. If you see any other Iron Hands, maybe an Electric Terrain as well, get you guys all that attack boost. If you're taking hits well, go for that Belly Drum. Otherwise, if you have Swords Dance, I would just definitely press it then if you can. Otherwise, maybe Defense Cheer, wait for someone to set up a Reflect, and then start going for it, because you want to make sure you're not going to press Belly Drum and die immediately, because then not only do you waste your turn, you take a huge chunk out of the timer, and people aren't going to like that, so be very careful with that. Moving on to our next Pokemon, we've got another, it's basically the same idea as the Iron Hands, but this one's not a Violet exclusive, so I thought I'd throw it up here too. We've got Annihilape. Annihilape, of course, is a fighting and ghost Pokemon with the Terra type of fighting. Again, holding the Scope Lens. Like I said before, this is a very similar set. You've got Drain Punch as your main damage output. You got Focus Energy on there for the same reason it's on Iron Hands, because after a Focus Energy and Scope Lens, you're basically always going to be hitting crits. Bulk Up is on there to make this Pokemon a little bit more defensive. Iron Hands has a notably higher HP stat and a notably higher defense stat than Annihilape, as you can see here. So you might need to press a Bulk Up or two to really be taking hits like Iron Hands will. But what's nice about that is because it's Bulk Up, you're also going to be boosting your attacks, so your Drain Punches are going to be hitting harder. You can also press a Screech to make it so your Drain Punches just hit harder from that side by taking, obviously, Baxcalibur's defense down two stages with a Screech, assuming its shield is not up. If its shield is not up, Screech will not work. Let's remember that. Your Drain Punch will be doing quite a bit more damage. Defiant, I think, is this Pokemon's best ability. None of them really work too well here. I think Defiant's your best choice. In case, for whatever reason, Baxcalibur finds a way to lower a stat, it'll be nice to get a +2 to attack. That's just a free +2, so you might as well take it. When it comes to its EVs, you want to max out HP, max out attack, and put the last 4 points in defense, literally the same as Iron Hands, and then give it Adamant, also the same as Iron Hands. Again, this Pokemon's kind of just a budget Iron Hands if you're playing on Scarlet or for whatever reason can't get your hands on an Iron Hands. So keep that in mind. I'd probably recommend Iron Hands more, but this Pokemon will work, especially if that Baxcalibur has Stomping Tantrum or another ground move like I mentioned before. Moving on to our next Pokemon, fan favorite, we've got Clefairy. Eviolite Clefairy. You know how it is. Fairy type, give it Terra Fairy. You won't be terroring it anyway, so you can just leave it with what you call it at. When it comes to its moves, it's the exact same Clefairy set I've mentioned before. You've got Life Dew, Reflect, Chilling Water, and Helping Hand, all there for the same reason they were before. Set a Reflect turn 1 for sure. Go for a couple Chilling Water. Set Baxcalibur has lower attack. It's already hitting you not as hard because of that Reflect. And you have Friend Guard, so your allies are being hit by quite a bit less damage. Once you get all that set up, you've gone for a few Chilling Waters. Start pressing Helping Hand for your team around you. Again, its Terra type doesn't matter at all. I guess technically Water would be slightly better. But Terra Fairy, whatever. That's what you'll catch a Clefairy with anyway, so just stick with it. You won't need to Terra at all. Don't Terra, realistically. If it's Terra Fairy, I guess nothing changes, but you don't need to, so don't worry about it too much. Again, lead the Reflect, Chilling Waters. If anyone gets low, press Life Dew. It just heals your full team for a decent amount. You've got your Cheers as well if you want to heal for a little bit more. And then obviously Helping Hand once you realize, okay, everyone's healthy, everyone's taking hits well, we need to start doing some damage. Press Helping Hand on your highest damage output to make that damage even more, which would be very nice. Moving on to our next Pokemon, we've got Gholdengo. Gholdengo, a little bit difficult to get, but if you get your hands on one, it's pretty applicable here. Steel and Ghost, and its Terra type is going to be Steel. Give it the Shell Bell held item. This Pokemon is kind of focused around setting up and going for big hits and then having to kind of set up a little bit again. We've got Recover. I don't know why I have Light Screen on here. It's supposed to be Reflect. I don't think I have... I actually don't think I have the TM for Reflect. Let's take a look. Yeah, I think I actually remember looking through this. Yeah, I do not. So we're going to forget Light Screen. Pretend that was Reflect, and it's Reflect at the bottom, right? You guys see it too. Recover, Nasty Plot, Reflect, and Make It Rain. This Pokemon is definitely going to be hitting you physically, so just be ready for that. Make It Rain, obviously, it's its highest damage output. I'd use a PowerPoint up or two on that. If you don't want to run a Recover, I could maybe see running like Flash Cannon, another Steel move with a little bit higher power points, just in case. That obviously also doesn't have the losing a little bit of special attack every time you use it. If you press a Nasty Plot, you'll get 2 Make It Rains before we start going to the negative, which is kind of nice. Even after that, you can still press it. You'll just be doing quite a bit less damage, so keep that in mind. Good as Gold is this Pokemon's only ability. When it comes to its EVs, you want to max out HP, max out special attack for the last 4 points in defense. And when it comes to its nature, it's going to be modest, which is plus special attack minus attack. Moving on to our next Pokemon. What's interesting about this one is it doesn't actually target any weaknesses. It kind of is just, I'm going to take hits really well and deal a lot of damage back eventually. Slowbro is a water and psychic type Pokemon. You're going with the Terra type of psychic. You'll see why in just a second. I'm sure many of you already know. I gave it the leftovers held item. I think that's a good idea. Consistent healing is always great on an offensive Pokemon. Chilling Water's there for you to help build up to your Terra. You've got Nasty Plot, so you can give +2 to your special attack and Iron Defense, so that Baxcalibur will be hitting you way less hard, which is just great. Every Iron Defense you do, you'll take, I believe it's actually half as much damage from the next attack, which is kind of huge. So I would definitely recommend setting up with some Iron Defenses, and then if it hasn't cleared stats, maybe a Nasty Plot, and then you press Stored Power, which is your nuke. Once you can start pressing Stored Powers, especially once you Terra Psychic, those are going to be dealing ridiculous damage with your +6, hopefully, in defense and special attack. You'll just be, even though it won't be super effective, you'll be dealing so much damage where realistically it probably won't matter that much. Pokemon's only ability that's kind of applicable here is Oblivious. The other two basically do nothing, so I wouldn't worry about it. You can honestly keep whatever ability you catch this with. When it comes to its EVs, you want to max out HP, max out defense, put the last 4 points in a special attack, and then I gave it the Bold nature, which is plus defense and minus attack. Moving on to our... I haven't mentioned IVs for any of these Pokemon. My bad. When it comes to IVs for Iron Hands, everything matters except special attack. Same with Annihilape. With Clefairy, everything matters except your attack stat. With Gholdengo, we're back to it, so it's another special attacker. Everything matters except your attack stat. Same with Slowbro. Okay, now that we're caught up, let's move on to our last Pokemon here. I apologize for that. We've got Malamar. Malamar is the exact same set we've run before. You got Dark Psychic as its basic typing, and then you're going to be Terra type of Fighting. I'm sure you guys know why. You give it the Shell Bell hold item. Lunge is a great way for you to build your Terra with this Pokemon. It lowers Baxcalibur's attack for each time you hit it and does damage, so you build Terra Charge, which is nice. And then you've got Reversal on there for if you start getting a little bit low on health and you start running out of power points in your Superpower, which is your main damage output. With the ability Contrary, Superpower gives you a +1 in both defense and attack every time you use it. So as long as the ability hasn't been neutralized by Baxcalibur, Superpower is going to be doing a lot of damage and it's going to snowball really hard, both defensively and offensively, so keep that in mind. You've also got to Reflect here. I recommend leading with that if no one else on your team plans to, just so you guys in general are taking less damage from those physical moves. Again, make sure this Pokemon has Contrary or it completely defeats the point of this set. If it doesn't have Contrary, you're kind of wasting a team slot, if I'm being honest. When it comes to its EVs, you want to max out HP, max out attack with the last 4 points into defense. When it comes to its nature, you want to give it Adamant, which is plus attack minus special attack. When it comes to its IVs, everything matters except its special attack stat. With that being said, that's all of our builds here today. Again, I apologize. Remember, Reflect on Gholdengo. That's not Light Screen. You don't need Light Screen at all. This Pokemon is definitely going to be hit. He definitely is going to be hitting you physically. So I prefer Reflect. You should prefer Reflect. I think I'm going to be preferring Malamar. Malamar is probably my go-to here if it works. Otherwise, I might just go for the Slowbro. It seems like a simple, easy way. Or Clefairy for support. Honestly, all of these seem pretty fun. I'm excited to try them all out in this 7-star raid that's coming up pretty soon. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. I hope to see you guys out there in those raid ends. Again, thank you for watching. Have a good day.